right under pressure now.
Asensio, Dani Olmo. In the nick of time defending. Campbell was asleep. Spinaqueta was wide away. Even the misplaced passes are finding red shirts. Pedri to Jordi Alba. Turned away by Duarte. Jordi Alba's had an excellent game, but it must be great to have such a young pair of legs in front of you. He's 33 now, Jordi Alba. He said that all that is missing from his medal collection is a World Cup. It's nice when you can say that. It's his 6th major tournament with Spain. His 24th game at World Cups and European Championships. 34 next March. And he's got Pedri here in front of him. And the even younger Gavi. Well, it's no problem for Gavi. Here's Torres. Didn't quite have it under control, but it didn't stop him scoring. It's that easy for Spain. Ferran Torres lost the ball there, but he recovered it immediately. A quick swivel, and he hooks in his 2nd goal, and Spain's 4th. And you better get out the calculators if Spain are in the mood, because they can score whenever they want.
Now they've brought the deadlock in this 2nd half. This could be any number. Calvo in the end almost doing nothing and kneeling down, stopped the first one. But Oviedo and him and Navas can't stop the second one. And as you said, Clive, before, it's like a practice match. 5-a-side goals.
And there's 15 goals in 32 internationals for Ferran Torres. And Dani Tabi is very happy. Maybe. He started every qualifier that he was fit for, Torres. He scored in 4 of the 6 that he played. He got a couple more against Italy in the semi-final of the Nations League last year. Big goals for Spain. These may not amount to a great deal tonight because Costa Rica have been so beatable. Torres has scored the 3rd and the 4th. And it is time to make changes. And clearly there's very little wrong with Alvaro Morata because he's coming on and he has been Spain's go-to supply of important goals in the last few years.
Literally can't wait to get on.
Joint top scorer in the tournament at the moment, Torres. With Bukayo Saka and a few others. Dani Olmo. Jordi Alba, Torres looking for that trick. Turned behind by Brian Oviedo. And those of you who've had a flotter on the Golden Boot winner, these are the kind of nights when it can almost be decided if somebody's in the mood. 3 or 4 in one game. Well, that's the end of Ferran Torres' night. Morata comes on. And he's going to be joined by Carlos Sella of Paris Saint-Germain. I think we can get a rest. So they came into the squad after last year's Euros and been regularly involved since. Strange keeping from Navas. Jordi Alba setting his sights. Crosses by Rodri. And the header behind is by Waston. of the strange features of the squad, actually, that there are key players who are struggling to hold down places in their club teams. And Carlos Soler is certainly one of those at Paris Saint-Germain, fighting for a place in their midfield with Verratti and Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz and the rest. Torres has had limited time at Barcelona. Asensio's had limited time at Real Madrid. Asensio just took his eye off the ball. Decision's gone Spain's way. He did fill up his squad with some of the brighter young things in Costa Rican football, and Alvaro Zamora, 20 years of age, is set for his 4th cap. It's always said this is a good experience for a young player. I'm not altogether sure of the wisdom behind that.
He's got nothing to lose. Costa Rica have got a press on.
Soler just being eased into the game, and it wasn't the friendliest of back passes for Unai Simon. You almost hear the buzz of conversation going on inside the stadium. Just a test match atmosphere. Morata would be borderline. Linesman giving him the benefit of the doubt for now. Kept wide by Olmo. Flag stays down.
Boston did well there because Morata was just waiting for him to commit himself, and he didn't.
I think in a couple of the other one-sided games that we've seen in the last few days, the team on the receiving end have still been putting in tackles, and some of them fairly loose, careless and slightly dangerous tackles. I don't feel as if any of the Spain players are in danger of being on the wrong end of one of those at the moment. Maybe something like that, Calvo just easing Gavi to the ground.
Well, there's been an energy in the press of the other teams we've mentioned to get close to the player in order to be aggressive, but the white shirts have been nowhere near the red ones at all.
Alvaro Zamora then getting his big chance, and in the foreground a bit of Costa Rican history for a name you may be familiar with, Brian Ruiz. He now becomes the oldest player ever to represent his country in the World Cup finals. 37 years of age now. Played all 8 games at the last 2 World Cups. They can almost have a pot shot now without any comeback. Turned 37 in August, Ruiz. He's back in Costa Rica playing his club football now after spells in Portugal, Netherlands and England, where he played in the Premier League for Fulham a decade ago. You'll remember the name, Brian Ruiz. There he is. Bennett still full of running. Zamora, I should say, with the burst down the field. Bennett has been spared for future engagements, and here comes another player who's only just been called into the Spanish squad, another youngster who's really excelled in the last few months. Alejandro Balde. Going to get his first cap. Spilicueta. Well, he went for goal. Gavi was certainly on for the comeback, maybe Soler too.
It's a good run from Morata, right on the shoulder. Calvo, he can't see him. He just can't wrap his foot around it. Not so sure he can get the cross in either. Defenders there. Austin.
Experienced Koke on the left will accompany Alejandro Balde onto the field. Is going to go off, and so too is Sergio Busquets.
Busquets has passed himself to sleep. He deserves a rest.
It's a triumphant smile on the face of the coach. Won the World Cup at 21. Busquets is 34 now. Deserves a rest, although I'm never sure he actually breaks sweat, even at his very best. Makes the ball do the work. Austin.
His heat map will be one to look at. He's probably not moved more than about 10 yards.
Soler. Balde's become Barcelona's regular left back in La Liga, where flying high at the top. Another product of that extraordinary Barcelona academy. You said partly in jest about 5 minutes ago, Costa Rica have actually put more pressure on the ball in the last 5 minutes than they have at any other stage of the game.
Yeah, 6 men around the ball, impressive. Expect a 5th goal very shortly.
Well, there is a certain amount of damage limitation in their mindset surely now. Balde against Zamora, two newcomers. Balde can shift, can't he? Olmo. Balde's gone on. Won't quite catch that, I don't think. The flag has gone up belatedly. Here's a goal kick. He only came into the squad 2 days before the tournament. Only made his under-21 debut in September, but 19 years of age is plenty old enough to take a place in this squad.
That's all Fuller needs. And that he's had.
Spilicueta all over it, Oviedo. Okay, now directing operations from the centre of the field. Campbell just reacquainting himself with the ball.
That was good from Duarte, though. He's gone into the midfield and won the ball back for his team.
He's been given that different role in this half. Comes up that speed of Carlos Oviedo, looking all the way along the line. Some of the statistics that we've been offered at this World Cup are a little clearer than others.
Some smart brains of football in the ITV team, and we've been trying to work them out all week. Not me, but trying to work them out all week, what we mean, some of them.
The statistics provided by FIFA rather than by ITV. just showed a bit too much of that to Calvo. His eyes lit up, sensing that he might want to add his name, and that's the kind of challenge that Spain must fear. Calvo flying in, it is a yellow card, it's the first of the night actually. Miscontrol, trying to catch up with it. Soler was on the end of it, and in moments like that, the World Cup can disappear.
A bit of frustration. He made one tackle, quite liked the feeling. He's not had an awful lot of chance. And then just diving in the second one, you'll say he got something on the ball, but as you said, at this stage in the game, it's almost a bit too late for that sort of stuff now.
Francisco Calvo, Konyaspor in Turkey. Time for another 20-year-old to take the field. Nico Williams, not the Nico Williams, obviously. But Athletic Bilbao forward who's made his mark this year.
He's done his job tonight, Asensio. It's not an easy finish that, coming up, just smothered it into the far corner.
There's Asensio, on comes Williams. Bit of a wild card winger, made his debut in September. 75 minutes of international football to his name. Plays in the same club attack as his older brother Inaki, who's here with Ghana. They might just face each other. Wouldn't be until the quarter-finals. Might see Williams tomorrow against Portugal. Spinaqueta. Header across the face of goal by Dani Olmo beyond Morata. Go out. I've seen quite a few World Cup brothers down the years, from the Charltons through to the De Boers, the Laudrups, Tourés, Ayus, and so on. But 12 years since Jerome and Kevin Prince Boateng met on opposite sides in a World Cup match in Johannesburg. Germany beat Ghana that day. That was a little piece of history. You never know. You never know. The Williams might just add to that in the coming days. Bold run by Laporte. Morata. Williams can't quite catch up with that. With Oviedo, though. It's been difficult for everybody in white, but Campbell looks a shadow of the player we've seen in the last two World Cups. Morata was free, but Winston prevented it from reaching him. Looking ahead, we have a highlights programme tonight featuring all four of today's games. Belgium still to come. You can take a look at them just after midnight on ITV1 and STV. Tomorrow, our first game of the day is Switzerland versus Cameroon. And then in the afternoon, Cristiano Ronaldo's first appearance since his separation from Manchester United. Portugal versus Ghana tomorrow on ITV1 and STV from 3 o'clock. So the experience. Borges makes way for Brandon Aguilera, who's just 19 years of age. As both coaches have almost the luxury of being able to refresh their squads at will, and the knowledge that the outcome of the game is decided. It is just a question of how many, and indeed how much Spain wants some more.
Yeah, Morata will be keen. I'm sure they all will, but there's definitely lifted their foot off the pedal a little bit.
It's amazing they'd won just 2 of their 7 matches at the last 2 World Cups, those against Australia and Iran. Fuller intercepting there. They went out at this stage as defending champions in 2014. They needed a very late equaliser against Morocco to progress from their group in Russia 4 years ago. A goal that was initially disallowed for offside. So they have some pretty horrible World Cup history to reflect on in recent times, since their dominant period. And Lucky Williams knew he was offside, but Ulmer couldn't quite link with Morata. Ruiz has still got it, if you give him time. And there's no flag here, and Campbell has some support. And now it goes up. Felt they blew hot and cold at the Euros last year. They reached the semi-finals and only lost on penalties to Italy. Went out of the last World Cup on penalties too. You know, they're fine margins, tales of what might have been. But clearly they've had to rebuild the team from that golden era a decade or so ago, when you wonder whether anybody else was ever going to win another major tournament other than Spain. 3 in a row, 2 Euros and a World Cup. But the rebuilding is in good hands. Look at this from Balde. He could go all the way here. Morata. Keylor Navas got a hand on the ball. Morata has seen Gavi! That was special, wasn't it? And he is special. The youngest player ever to play for Spain at the World Cup finals becomes the youngest goal scorer for Spain at the World Cup finals. You'll be seeing an awful lot more of Gavi
And Baldi. This young Spanish side are really going to be something to watch in a few years' time if they're not already. Driving run, he's onside. And then watch his run to the ball. He picks the fly up, eye on the ball, just cuts across the ball. He knows exactly where it's going, right down there in the bottom corner. Fabulous technique.
First time Spain have scored 5 in a World Cup game since 1998. He's actually been nursed through the last month after picking up a groin injury. He was only a substitute in Barcelona's last 3 league games. But it's the same old story with Barcelona from the age of 11. 5 feet 8, their usual height. He's not a goal scorer, actually. He scored his first goal for club or country in the preparation international in Jordan last week. He hasn't scored for Barcelona this season, but he took that so well, didn't he?
Brilliant technique. That's where I went wrong. I'm 5'9". I'm not Spanish.
Not Dani Alves. Morata still looking for a goal of his own. They might just have to repair the scorched turf that Balde covered in the build-up to that goal.
That's a huge talent, isn't he? It's all right just being fast, but it's knowing when to run, knowing when to slow down, when to speed up. It looks like he's got the full. He's picked it up already.
Did you know when to speed up and slow down?
No, one pace. Reasonable pace, but just one.
I think the fullback's role in the game today is a little different from when you played for George Graham. The priority was defending.
Yeah. The pace slightly different as well. It's become a fashionable position.
Well, Jordi Alba rolled back the years when he was on the field and really contributed in that first half when Spain took charge of this game. But clearly Jose Gaya, who was the original understudy to him of Valencia, was taken out of the squad with a minor muscle injury, and in came Alejandro Balde for his first cap, his first involvement with the senior squad, and he looks ready already.
Well, he'll get tested a bit if he gets on the pitch against Germany. All of these players will. They won't have this freedom. They'll have a few more players closer to him when they're making these little triangles. Germany will have to break that up in midfield.
He's penalised. There's still 15 minutes or so of this to go for Costa Rica. Waston is forward and he is a presence. He's scored some big goals for his country, and he's a big man to take on. But do you think Gavi's frightened of him?
There we go.
Pick on someone your own size.
Well, I think the port's just upset and landed on him. He's got to go for the header.
But Gavi's response is always, yeah, you and me in the tunnel later, okay. I've got your number.
Beware the little ones, Clive.
I think his teammates may just talk him out of a contretemps with Kendall Waston. All 6'5" of him. Gavi is very talented, but he's giving away a bit too much in reach, I think. Costa Rica have not had a shot as yet, and I'm reliably informed that the last side to go through a World Cup game without a shot was back in 1990. It was Costa Rica against Brazil. And these are romantic matchups, and they just don't happen outside of the World Cup finals. Spain play very, very few teams from the Central America or the Latin American regions. Costa Rica see very little European opposition. Here's Williams. And Morata's waiting, and Fuller beat him to it. Good defending. He's not giving up. That's good from Gavi. And good from Duarte. Solet. Well found. Coquet for Rodri, and now Morata! Finds the knees of Callas, but the flag was raised. Morata's effort on goal would not have counted. Keylor Navas kept it out.
He's made a couple of good runs off the shoulder, and he's made a couple of early ones as well. Sometimes you just gamble as a forward, hoping that the defender's dropped off behind you. On that occasion, Waston had just stepped up a little bit.
Straight swap at left back for Costa Rica, with Brian Oviedo giving way to Ronald Matarrita, cap number 52 for him. Plays his football now with FC Cincinnati in MLS. Spain's World Cup record is pretty modest when you think of the legends that have pulled on that famous red shirt. 15 finals, 15 tournaments, just one semi-final. That the year they won the World Cup in South Africa in 2010. Raul, Guardiola, David Villa, Butragueño, even Di Stefano and Puskas back in the day. One or two great goalkeepers. Not even a World Cup semi-final between any of them in Spanish colours. Didn't happen for Luis Enrique, who is a really fine international in his playing days. For a nation where this game is an obsession. It's about time for another golden Spanish generation.
Agree with Graham. He said before it might be just one tournament too early for this group. Third youngest squad in the tournament.
Spilicueta. Seeking out Williams. Didn't quite catch up with that. The opening game's always a test of nerves for the fancy teams, and Central American teams do tend to come into the finals with a little bit of mystery attached, unknown propositions. I remember the last time the World Cup was in Spain, they started the tournament with a draw against Honduras in Valencia. They trailed for the best part of an hour. That was 1982, and Jerry Armstrong scored that legendary goal against them for Northern Ireland. But they have cast aside any thoughts of another upset from the opening moments of this match, and just completely controlled it. Scored 3 times in just over half an hour to take the match away from Costa Rica.
I think Costa Rica surprised the Spanish. I think they thought it was going to be a little bit more of a contest, as in physicality and, yes, sitting back, but some sort of contact. There's been nothing, absolutely nothing from Costa Rica as far as being competitive.
Yeah, they've been a contain and counter team in all the tapes I've watched of them from the last year or so. They were very fortunate to beat New Zealand in the final playoff game just across Doha in June. The All Whites were much the better side, if the truth's told. But they haven't been able to live with the Spaniards tonight.
To look at the coach, he'll have to sit down with his staff and say, we got this really wrong, and work out what they're going to do against the next game against Japan.
It's on Sunday, also on ITV. Okay, to Balde. Soler. Balde, Dani Olmo, he just tried to lift that over Navas. Head injury for Joel Campbell.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of follow-up from the previous challenge in the box at Laporte. Wasn't happy with Campbell, he just got him back then.
Gavi is not only the youngest Spanish World Cup goal scorer, he is the 3rd youngest World Cup goal scorer of all time. Pelé remains top of that list, scoring back in 1958 as a 17-year-old. Gavi is now 3rd on it. He's still running. Soler to Balde. Koke. Gavi. Olmo. Morata's made another good run. Seemed almost to make a truce there with Keylor Navas.
He got to deal with him something. I think he thought he was going to get... Oh, he looked like he pulled up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a twinge.
Nobody else in the squad that can really fulfill that kind of role. Okay, we saw Spain cope very well without him for an hour or so here tonight, but he has been their most reliable source of goals, and he is a technician as a target forward. He was looking for Morata to see if he can quicken still.
Should we have a guess how many minutes?
For the added minutes.
I've not got one right yet.
FIFA did flag up their insistence on playing all of the gameplay available prior to the tournament. I heard an interview with Pierluigi Collina. Williams with the cross, Navas can't hold of it. And there is number 6, steered in by Soler. A minute left on the clock. Soler slots home his 4th international goal. It's a riot. Spain have been 6 goals better than Costa Rica. There's no getting away from that. What's in store for them in the coming weeks? We shall see. But tonight, they've looked the part.
Well, it's all about the quality of the cross. Navas feeling he's got to go for that. Defender misses it. It's just in that corridor. The follow-up, number 6. You have to say the amount of possession that Spain has had, and how the game started in the first half. This scoreline could have been a lot worse.
But it's 8 added minutes.
Oh, I was going to go for 7.
You know, when Spain won the World Cup in 2010, they scored 8 goals in the whole campaign. 6 already tonight, and 8 more minutes to score some more. That interview with Collina was fascinating. He was saying that an average of 9 minutes per match is lost to throw-ins, and the same to goal kicks. He said goal celebrations usually take 90 seconds, so if you do want more active time, you've got to tighten up somewhere. I do think there's an argument for a visible match clock if you're going to extend added time. It would be much better if we could all see how long is left. It's usually the 4th official that assesses the minutes that are added. And an official clock could...
Well, also, you've got the problem now is that normally if it's 1-2 minutes, you can kind of go, right, that's 90 and guess where you're at. Now you've got no chance. You go, what is 8 minutes? How does that look?
It's going to affect substitutions, tactical tweaks, when to leave to beat the traffic. But I think in 2022, a digital clock, which the 4th official can stop and we can all see, would just be the final accessory to what I think is generally a good initiative. We all want to see as much game time as we can for our money. Gavi. Williams, Morata. It's Alvaro Morata, it's 7. Magnificent Spain. They've moved the ball slickly and smartly and stylishly all night long. And another goal in keeping with the fashion of their football tonight. Completes the rout. Costa Rica hapless. Spain eye-catching.
Well, he's made a couple of really good runs on the shoulder. This little 1-2, he sees the space just behind the defender, and they can't stay with him. The ball from Olmo sets it all up. So difficult to defend against, especially when you're 6-0 down. He just strokes it in. Navas no chance. Impressive, the Spaniards. Bigger tests to come, but superb on the ball. Not been tested defensively at all.
28th international goal for Alvaro Morata. Only 5 Spaniards have scored more goals. He's only one behind Fernando Hierro now. I'm not quite sure what that was from Matarrita.
Does that count as a shot?
It might just be their first shot of the evening. He was maybe aware of the statistic and wanted to banish it. Morata 28, Hierro 29, ahead of them David Silva, Fernando Torres, Raúl and David Villa. It's the company that Morata is keeping. Fuller's given it away. Spain never give it away. Soler, Balde. Morata's hunting more. I suppose we've got to see out the time just for the formalities, because the likes of goal difference could be a factor. Goal scored in the final reckoning. Now this has been all over since half-time. Gavi looking for number 8. It's going to be hit by Soler. It's hit wide. How good's Gavi?
Oh. Look how many players he draws towards him. His close control, his feet, he's almost got hands on his ankles. He touches the ball so delicately. Players go to him and he just flips it off to someone in space. Brilliant player.
Everything I've heard about his character and personality suggests that he's on the right road. Not every young starlet fulfills his or her potential, but you'd be surprised if we're not talking about Gavi in another 13, 14 years' time. Here's Dani Olmo. That was a late and cheap shot at Balde, which has attracted a yellow card for Joel Campbell. Three teenagers in the squad. Now, is there a proverbial cherry to place on the icing on a celebration cake? Referee probably give a penalty for holding in a minute. The misery almost over for Costa Rica, and they defend that free kick from Soler capably enough. It looked a mismatch on paper, but you never know. Sometimes easy to be condescending about smaller nations, but they've not really given anything to this game.
No, Saudi Arabia and Japan had a go. These haven't, literally.
They've been absolutely thrashed. Spain have been a world apart from their opponents from first whistle to last. They scored 11 minutes in, they scored a few minutes from the end, and 6 more in between. Keylor Navas, who had some wonderful years in Spain, some of them with Alvaro Morata at the Bernabeu,